Um, Good night, you guys. It is January. No, it's not. It is December 31st of 2024. As I'm recording this, um, I don't know how long this video will be. Um, but that's fine. I hope I get it out and released, or at least really close to when this new year rolls around. I just want to say, I just want to talk about some different things. There's not really a main point to this video, so if you're kind of expecting that, then I don't know if you want to just leave a like on the video before you head out. That would be much appreciated. But if you'd like to stay, feel free. Um, Also, make sure to subscribe if you enjoy my sort of content. You know, it means a lot to me. I really appreciate it. I don't have a subscriber goal right now, but we'll get around to that in the next few weeks or so. So I just want to think I'm going to talk about some different thoughts I'm having, kind of what my Christmas experience this year was like, what I'm looking forward to and not looking forward to for this upcoming school year, or just the new year in general, whatnot. A few other things as well. So, um, well, my my Christmas experience was pretty good. I got some nice Lego sets. I got some candy. Just to make sure I got it right. So I got I got four different Lego sets. One was a Ninjago one, and then another one was Indiana Jones. Pretty cool. And then another was Star Wars, and another was a Minecraft one. So I might talk about those a little more on later on. So I got those. I got two new games. It was the Jedi Survivor game. I've played some of that. It's pretty cool. It's kind of harder in some ways than the first game. In some ways, it's easier because you kind of already know the stuff from the first game. So it's kind of mixed, but it's pretty fun. I've liked it. Um, yeah, so it wasn't for Christmas, but my dad did get for himself and for us um, the Xbox Game Pass because he just wanted to try some more games. So he started playing this Indiana Jones and the Great Circle game that was released earlier on this year, 2024, that is, while I'm recording this. Um, yeah, it looks pretty cool. He's explored, got quite a bit of it, the adventures and whatnot done, but he still has a lot left. Um, really fun. I might like to play some of that myself sometime. Um, let's see here. We had some nice desserts and whatnot. We've had a lot of sweets, whatnot. We even brought some cookies and whatnot that my grandma had made for us. We brought some of those to church. Um, Dad did because we were just like, we're not gonna have all this stuff, We wanna, and also I would say, I think for myself, I mean, I don't know about for my friends, my family, although I figured they might have done this a little too. Just felt good to kind of share some stuff on that front. But I kind of heard some stories a lot of other people had, too many sweet stuff too. So it's kind of funny hearing about that. It's been really nice going to church again these last few weeks. Um, I even went to the Christmas Eve service. It wasn't really that different from like the normal service, just was, a um, couple more psalms. I don't think they really had like a main lesson as much. It's mostly just the singing. We just lit some candles, for a little bit. That was really nice. Nothing too complicated, but it was pretty simple. It's cool. It's nice to go there. Um, and I'll say this too. I've also been really happy to have spent some time with my family this break. We've watched some TV, we've played some games, we just kind of hung out, we've enjoyed talking with each other. That's been a plus. Um, as well as it was nice it was nice getting to see people at church again, and as well as getting plenty of time over these last few days or so, however many it's been, the last, 3, 4, 5 days. I don't know how long it's been, but I'm going to plug my computer in here. Um, yeah, but however long it's been, and I've gotten to just play Minecraft with them. We've played. Uh, we tried to do a manhunt on one of my new friends, um, and it didn't go so well for them. Um, but it was pretty funny for me and the other hunters. Um, excuse me. So that was definitely pretty fun. I also showed them a little bit of my main Minecraft world. Um, so that was nice. Although there was some hiccups in that. Like the new friend there, I don't even know what the hell he was trying to do on there. He was messing around with me, and I got a little angry about it, but it's fine now. Besides that, let's see here. Um, well, there's so many different thoughts going on in my mind, and I just hope to try to deliver these in a way that makes sense and that isn't, too confusing or overwhelming for anyone in my audience. But when I was kind of thinking about with on Christmas Eve and Christmas Day, I had sort of a feeling that I hadn't really had as much before. I mean, I guess like I have sort of, but not exactly. It's a little bit different this year, and that was, you know kind of really feeling the sort of like significance of that, right? Like, I know that like I don't know, I kind of feel like that for a very long time. And I feel like this probably at least a somewhat common experience. I don't know. Feel free to tell me down in the comment section below what you think. But with special occasions, whether that's Christmas or your birthday or some other particular holiday or whatever it might be for you and your family or your loved ones, friends, whoever it might be that you're with, or by yourself, regardless. Um, the sort of personal traditions and whatnot you have that are extremely important. Kind of thinking about like sort of expectations we have on those days, like I don't know, just thinking about like I kind of want to feel that like yes on my birthday, but especially on Christmas to kind of feel that it's like a perfect day, if you will. And it's not so much about it being specific things that happen in that day or that we do certain events or do certain actions or go to certain places or whatever. It's not anything about that. It's just feeling that way because and I'm just saying this because for myself, I'm a Christian, and it's an extremely important day. And I recognize maybe historically this wasn't actually like the time period that Jesus was really born in, but so kind of the meaning, you know, the historical things, or whatever. Hopefully, you get what I'm trying to say. That we Christians perhaps ascribe to this time, in our lives and our years, and really wanting to honor that, really wanting to feel like there's heaven on earth, or that there's glory new, or that there is you know these wondrous things coming about, and this sort of anniversary, this remembrance, celebration of you know my Lord Jesus, my Savior, my Lord and Savior, and my friend, my counselor, Jesus Christ, coming into the world, bringing light into a place full of darkness, bringing life into, you the valleys of death, you know, and whatnot. And, I think I kind of, when I was younger, I kind of, and I'm not saying I didn't do a little bit over this holiday season, but, I was younger, I think I tend to fixate more on like the actual like gifts and whatnot. And as I'm getting a little older here, I kind of feel that like I'm caring more about the sort of experiences I'm having rather than the stuff I get. Um, I don't know. I mean, it's not to say I didn't care about the experience. I think I definitely did. But I think just the way that you know, the ranking of these things that I value, it's different. What I'm looking for is much different than it was, 9, 10 years ago. Um, or any point really before in my life, I guess. I don't know. But regardless, um, I guess I'm just saying this because I don't feel like mine was perfect. There was some really rough stuff going on with my family. I don't want to talk about it too much. I don't want to bring drama into my YouTube channel. But I just want to, share some of these things a little bit. Um, and when certain, circumstances called to it, I might share more specific details, but I don't really want to do that right now. I don't want to delve into that pot of, you know, negative emotions. Um, but, regardless of those and, you know, whether although to be in all honesty, most of the things that happened in the day were, pretty good for the most part, I'd say. It was really kind of a mixed experience, but a lot of the stuff was good, you know. And I mean, regardless, I'm still thankful for it. I'm still thankful for the experience I had. I still try to be appreciative of the days that I live, even if I don't have, a good day every single day. Like I forget where I heard this from, but someone once said something like, it's okay to not be okay. And I don't know, I just thought I'd share that. I just thought that was important, sort of point to make, to share, to highlight, if you will. Um, but so yeah, I don't know. I guess it's also sort of the thing of just like, and I kind of touched on this before, but like a sort of sense of like that there is peace on earth, but like also that, that there's sort of like a sense of like joy and glory and sort of like like an immense type of joy that is hard to comprehend. It's hard to put in words what that experience is like, you know. And I don't know if I'll ever experience that, but I certainly hope that I do. And I certainly also hope that, as many other people do experience that as well. Um, right. Um, so anyways, those things aside there, and I don't know, I might return back to that stuff. Another random thing here, well, sort of connected, is yeah. So one of the gifts that some of the stuff that my dad got for Christmas. So he got a record player, and he got some records, and including one from Hozier, um, and then uh, and then the other day they went out, and my parents went out and they did some stuff, and they went to some stores and whatnot and got some more got some more records. So my dad has like a whole bunch of those. They sound just honestly amazing. But that kind of put a thought in my head, and I think I think I've thought about this before, but it was nice seeing this sort of thought again, and it was like, well, um, you know, kind of how revolutionary is it that like thinking back to, you know, when we had recording technology, either just audio or visual, even the first, you know, moving pictures, because they weren't even called movies back, moving pictures, and um, thinking like how crazy that is that exists, that's just like a real thing, that we're capable of capturing a moment purely, in that. And I don't know. I guess this is a tiny little part of why I don't really want to edit these, daily videos too much, because I want to kind of keep keep that sort of experience as it was, as it was. And I may not be able to perfectly remember everything, but I kind of want to capture it. I want to hold that as much as I can to, for various reasons, but to kind of, you know, but I feel like especially to kind of feel that sort of like groundedness, sort of clarity, that sort of, um, you know, insight, or that sort of peace and simplicity in my life, in my mind, that I don't know. I forget exactly where I was going, but I think you I hope hopefully you understand. If you don't, feel free to leave down in the comment section below. Yeah. Yes, and so far, thank you, and just a reminder, thank you for sticking around this long. I know I've really been kind of been struggling to keep people watching most of my videos for um, longer than about like a minute or two. Um, but I don't know, honestly, I don't know if that's because of something that I'm doing, or just I'm a small content creator, um, or maybe there's just certain editing things I haven't figured it out yet. I'm not upset about it. I'm just curious if anyone has any suggestions what I might be able to do about that, especially if you're a big editor yourself. Um, Even just like a few small tips might be nice if you want to watch some of my previous videos and kind of give me some ideas to work with. I'd very much appreciate it. But regardless, even if no one does, that's perfectly fine too. I'm sure I'll be fine. Um, so anyway, but thinking back to the point I was making here, right? Like, how crazy is it that we can have you know audio that's recorded from people who lived like 200 years ago, or however long ago the first models of any sort of, even the earliest forms of audio recordings, oh my god, recordings, my apologies. um that's just so weird to think that we can listen to music or just sounds from a long dead person. It's kind of creepy, I'm not gonna lie, but it's also kind of fascinating, because otherwise there'd be no way to really um really hold on to or preserve that person's voice. I mean, even if it is a really really scratchy, really really old recording, still nonetheless it's still something to work with, still some form of it, it's still preserved, even if it's a really shit version of it, right? To think about things that last a really long time. This reminds me a little bit of, I've always had a fascination with, well, maybe not always, but for a very long time, I've had a fascination with ancient Egypt. And, if you know any one thing about ancient Egypt is, well, I mean, there's so many things I could say, but one thing is, you think about the mummies and the pyramids, and think about how these structures, how the bodies of the mummies, how the things inside of the pyramids and the tombs have existed, managed to survive, even if they've weathered and been, reduced somewhat, to say the least, over however long it's been since, ancient Egypt was not ancient, and it was, the heyday, and it was the present moment. I mean, honestly, it's still crazy to think that, like, there was people living, like, you know like, I don't even know, like 10,000 years ago, however long ago it was. I mean, in ancient Egypt lasted for an insanely fucking long time. Excuse my language, but you know or any other big big civilizations like China. Like, goddamn, existed for, it's like insanely long. um you know just thinking about like how these things have preserved. And so I'm kind of curious, um I mean, I really, really wish I could know, but I don't know if I ever will. And that's kind of it's really really frustrating, but it's also extremely, you know, interesting. It's really, it really forces me to think. It really forces me to kind of, you know, confront the constraints of my imagination, what the future might be like, what people in the past lived like, what I will be like, what I'll be saying in future videos. I don't even know what I'll be saying in the future. I mean, maybe in a few seconds I might, but you know, you know what I mean. More than just the immediate near future kind of stuff. Um, right. You know, we have to really confront that the fact that, you know, our lives, our human lives are really, really short in the grand scheme of things. You know, and that's not a fact I particularly like or enjoy. I don't like thinking that, you know, I could be dead before, you know, humans ever set foot on Mars or have any sort of form of, you know, establishments on other planets or, you know, cure cancer or any, or even so many other things I could say, you know, figure out how to figure out how to time travel, figure out how to travel to parallel universes if those exist, you know, all sorts of crazy things, um, and whatnot. You just have to really be willing to accept that, and I don't know, but the point being that, right, I can capture I don't think this was the entire thing. There's many reasons, and I've talked about this already like a good few times before in previous videos. But the fact that you can record a moment, you can capture it, that's like endlessly fascinating to me, you know. It's kind of, and thinking about how it would have been the perspective of someone who lived, you know, as these things were coming out for the first time, or even getting developed, you know, or even just, you know, being, you know, becoming more advanced, right? Thinking about like how mind boggling that would have been to be like, you know, there's it's not exactly immortality, but it's the next thing that we humans can have right now, right? To be able to preserve things, not just in our writing, you know, we don't have to, we can write things, sure, we can pass down stories across generations. Not only those, but, you know, we can record things. And I mean, again, it's entirely possibility that, and I hate to think this, but it's an entirely possibility that, you know, in the future, that, you know, maybe all of human civilization gets destroyed. And maybe there's just new life forms that will, you know, live around, or whatever comes after next of humans, or some other aliens that take over us, or whatever the case might be. Who knows? Um, you know, that we'll never find out, never see these videos. Not just I mean, kind of the ones I'm making because, you know, I care about those, but really any of them. It's a scary thought, you know, a scary thought that our names, you know, our cultures, our music tastes, how people knew us is just gone, completely forgotten about, you know, and that scares me. It scares me because it's like, it's very much like a death. And as a living being, I'm scared of death, you know. I'm scared of dying. I don't know what's going to happen after I die. I don't know for sure. Yeah, I'm a Christian, but I'm still very curious. You know, I don't know what will happen in the afterlife, if there is one, and if that is, what that even look like. And there's so many what if questions I can ask, and I don't want to overwhelm myself or anyone right now with too many what if questions, because in all honesty, we could go on this the whole literal forever potentially, and I don't want to do that. I don't think anyone really wants to do that. and it's overwhelming. But anyhow, I just thought that I just wanted to share this perspective because, and it's interesting. It's interesting, and we don't know. We can never really know what will happen in the future. The only person that knows that, at least the way that I believe it as a Christian, is the Lord. That's the only one who does, right? At least to all my knowledge right now. And I have to admit that, like I said, my knowledge is constrained. You know, and sort of the thing here, people say that people have often told me I'm smart, and I'm like, well, okay, maybe, but like, there's so much shit I don't know. Like, there's an insane amount of things that like I haven't learned yet. I don't know how to do those. But it's not only skill based, you know, whether that's playing certain instruments or speaking certain languages, but things that are, bigger than that, you know, creating entire story universes, creating, a whole new civilization. I forget what exactly I was saying. I feel like I'm getting off the point, but hopefully you understand. Um, so yeah, I just, I know, it's just like, this is the stuff I like to think about, though. I mean, not too much, because too much thinking about it stresses me out, and I just get a lot of energy in my body. I'm just like, oh my god, it's like all the possibilities. It's exciting. It's energizing to me. It's overwhelming, admittedly, but it's like brain food. You know, um, I don't. I like to try to stay with like, well, I like to think it's deep stuff, but to be honest, I mean that's really you know it's really whatever it means, whatever you define it to be. There's not like a universal definition of that. I mean, then hell, again, all language is socially defined and it changes over time. There's no set in stone meaning to things. Hell, even the fact that with the recordings, like I was mentioning earlier, that you know the way we even use language is different too. So how how does the meaning from what someone in a video, you know, from how will the meaning from some random person and to some person speaking in 2001 as you know the twin towers fell and they're recording that, how will people in 2070, if there's humans in 2070, how will they interpret that, you know or um you know how will how do we interpret what people in the 1880s when they were recording on their devices, I forget what it is, but you know what I mean. How do we interpret what they're saying, regardless of language differences? Regardless if they're speaking a different language than we know, right? Putting those aside, but like, and also now, like how we even fucking interpret, it's kind of like a whole mystery on its own, how we manage to interpret long dead ancient languages to English or Spanish or German or any other form of modern, as of the 21st early 21st century, interpret that. um I don't know, it's just a lot of stuff to think about. um so I'm trying to think, what was my next thing I wanted to talk about. I kind of forget because that mostly got me on there. Okay, what else I wanted to say? So I know I haven't posted nearly as many videos, and um, you know, I haven't done as many videos in this last few weeks. And I'm sorry about that. I would say I myself, I feel a little bad because, I like making the videos. But I just, some parts of me, I didn't feel like it, and I was just enjoying having this time with friends and family. Um, but I still want to contribute to this. I still want to add to this. Um, I'm feeling a little bit like, it's not the same way, but a little bit like the way I have in the past when I wrote in journals, where I'm like, and maybe more so with the daily videos, but like sometimes it's somewhat with some of the other videos as well, of like, I want to write stuff down so I can record it and I can look back on it, have a past thing. So I can be like, oh, I did stuff on this day, and I can reread, and I can take pleasure in knowing I did something and actually wrote that down or recorded it on that day or close enough to it. But it's also the thing of like, well, I have to take effort to, write the stuff down, or in this case, record it and then edit it if I do decide to. Um, so anyhow, um, well, I don't have this too long because, like I said, I wanted to get this out somewhat sooner, not too, not too late. Um, but oh yeah, let me go and share with you. This is not, I didn't come up with this myself. I forget exactly what the name of the YouTuber is. I saw this video not too long ago. Um, about where this guy was like, all right, if you want to use if you want to use this, there's this joke you can use. Um, well, many different forms of it, but I'll share the first one. He said, if you're like if you're talking with a whole bunch of people like during New Year's and you're wanting to make everyone laugh hysterically, and the joke he said was, I think it was, just give me a second. It could be like, I'm so hungry, I haven't eaten anything since last year, you know, or, I haven't eaten anything since 2024. Or, you could say something like, oh, I'm sorry if I smell, I haven't showered, you know, I haven't showered this year, or I didn't shower last year, or whatever, something like that. And I just thought it was super funny. So I just wanted to share that too. Um, but yes, I am so sorry that I didn't share more things. I really wish I did. You know, I don't feel bad about it, but I just really wish I had. And believe me, I've not forgotten about doing videos. Um, I hope to have at least one Minecraft video out in the next few days, maybe. Um, well, I'll just say next week. Honestly, I don't know, but I have not forgotten about that. I've also considered that, you know, I've also run into a little bit of a challenge here with the videos, not in ideas for them or the will to make more videos, but rather just um, like technology constraints. I'm doing this on this school computer I have, which is pretty good, but it's still, it's a laptop. It's not meant. It's not designed per se for gaming, although it seems to run games pretty well for the most part. It's not really mainly for the purpose of recording stuff, even though I have been, and it seems to be working fine. It seems to be doing everything fine as is, but eventually I'm going to run out of storage on this thing, and I've already used up quite a bit of storage already making videos. Now, admittedly, I think that was because I didn't know I could just put stuff on my OneDrive or whatever it was, which took up physical like disk space. So I'm glad I stopped doing that. But yeah, one day, one of these days, I would really love to get bigger, better, actual, gaming and recording setup, because I want to ensure that I can make as many videos as I want with really high quality that people will just really enjoy. And that's also really easy for me to make and have fun with, and it's super easy to do so. I don't want to be worried about, you know, I don't want to be worried about burning through this computer before I even get to the middle, or second half of my sophomore year. However long this thing has got in it, but regardless, um, I don't know. It's possible, and I don't. Maybe I shouldn't be saying this, but it's possible in the future I might want to do some kind of figure out some way to fund to get. I don't know, but I don't. I feel weird asking about that because I don't want to make random people feel obligated to help me on it. It's not really too bad, It's I don't need to have that. It'd just be nice to, but anyways, regardless of whatever happens on that front, I'm not gonna stop making videos. But what I meant to say before I distracted myself on all these points here was that I considered the fact that I might have to, I might even just want to make videos less frequently because I don't want to burn myself out. And especially if I want to, um, give myself a little bit more time to work on some things, especially if they are longer videos or require many hours of footage. I want to be able to, um, or if they have multiple parts, I just want to be able to have, eh, you know, it's a conflict because, like I said earlier, I don't want to. I feel bad about not doing stuff as frequently because I've liked that, but I don't know. Um, Honestly, I have no idea if anyone will even respond to this video, if anyone's even stuck around for this long. But if you have, please, I just ask you if you could just, if you've watched my videos before, if you could just, what give your thoughts down below? Just kind of tell me what you think. Do you, even if you didn't answer any of the previous things that I asked, you know, if you could just give me some feedback on this. Um, I'd appreciate it. I'd like to interact with my audience a little bit, kind of see what, people would prefer. Um, would you prefer for me to do, you know, short but more frequent videos, or do you want me to do longer but less frequent ones? Or, what sort of, what are your thoughts on that area? But, anyways, regardless, it's 11, it's getting close to 11:40 right now. So it's about 20 minutes before it'll hit midnight and it'll be the new year. Um, so, so yeah. I don't think I got around to talking about all this stuff, but I think I'm happy with the length this video has been. It's almost 40 minutes long as is. I think that's plenty of time right there. Don't want to drag it out too much further. Um, so, so yeah, I just hope you've enjoyed this. I hope you have a happy new year, and oh yeah, and feel free to tell me if you have any sort of New Year's resolutions, anything like that you might like to do, even just any silly ones, Be glad to hear them if you want to share. No pressure. But anyhow, good night or good time and Happy New Year. Bye.